Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewellyn here in our studios in Los Angeles. We're really pleased to have with us today Michael J. Maher. He is a best-selling author whose name you might know. He's the CEO of referral, which is headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. By the way, he's the author of this book, The 7 Levels of Communication, which has been described multiple times as one of the best books on the art of being a great salesperson on the market. It has been a bestseller for 5 years in the real estate section. So this is really something special to have Michael with us. Michael, nice to have you
Thank
here.
you, Doug. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. And let me point out, before we begin, a little while ago, you had a chance to answer some questions from William Shatner. Let's take a look at a brief portion of that and see how it went. All right?
Fantastic.
Well, let's watch.
You are certainly in an interesting business, but take a moment to describe to me exactly what you do and who you do it for and how it helps move America forward.
Yes, thank you for asking. Great question. Mr. Shatner, what I do is I simply teach a revolutionary approach to sales. Businesses typically struggle to build loyalty and attract referrals. We have built a company called referral, which teaches how to effectively communicate in such a way it fosters loyalty and creates an army of ambassadors for that company. As we know, repeat and referral customers are the most profitable type of client to acquire. And listen, more profit means better business. That is how we are helping to move America forward.
You know, that's really fascinating what you were just saying to William Shatner about the importance of referral, and really it's what your company is focusing on. And in fact, it's what your book is, 7 Levels of Communication. That's referral. What are these levels? What are we talking about?
So the 7 levels of communication, the lowest level is advertising, and then above that is direct mail, and then just above that is electronic communication. Those are the lowest 3 levels of business communication. I call that the informational zone. They're great for informing, they're great for confirming, but they're not great for convincing and or selling. The middle level is handwritten notes. It's its own form, it's its own level of communication. The top 3 levels of communication are phone calls, events and seminars, and then the top level, the best level of communication, is one-on-one meetings. The top 3 levels, phone calls, events and seminars, and one-on-one meetings, I call that the influential zone. They're great for influencing, convincing, and selling. And if you're going to be communicating with your database, communicating with your clientele, then I truly believe that it should be in the influential zone. It should be with phone calls and events and also with one-on-one meetings.
And then you talk about the handwritten notes.
That's right.
Which, people have gotten away from that.
Yeah. Isn't that sad?
It is.
But from a business standpoint, it actually becomes an advantage because you can stand out with a handwritten note, which is very inexpensive. That's what we do at referral. One of the services that we provide is handwritten notes. We will write notes for companies.
Let me ask you, how did you come upon all of these ideas and to write the book, which became such a big bestseller?
Yeah, so starting in the very beginning, I was a teacher, and in the summer I was looking for employment, and I decided to get into real estate because I wanted to invest down the road. So I got into real estate. And I worked with a client, my very first client. I had a housewarming party for them just out of the blue. And I ended up getting 11 referrals from that very first housewarming party. From there, within 3 years, I had developed a business that had done 187 transactions. Typical agent does 3 to 5. And I was generating over 500 referrals. And I really didn't know I was doing something special until a guy by the name of Howard Brinton interviewed me and got the CD out to over 100,000 realtors. My phone blew up, my email blew up, and I knew that when I was giving them the information, I was giving them an answer, but I wasn't giving them the answer to how I became North America's most referred real estate professional. So I knew I had to write a book, but I was like everybody else who said they needed to write a book. Right. I just didn't write a book. And then December 13th, 2007, I had knee surgery. A few days later, I had trouble breathing. I checked into ER. The next morning on December 18th, 2007, I actually heard my own heart flatline. I actually died. I had 7 blood clots, 3 in each lung, 1 passed through my heart. And for 37 seconds I was out. I was resuscitated. When that happened, it was a very emotional moment, as you can probably imagine. And while they were wheeling me down to surgery to put in a temporary pacemaker, I thought of a lot of things, wife, children, my dad. And I also thought I almost died with this wisdom in my head. And that night in ICU, I outlined on a napkin the 7 levels of communication, and then 2 years later, the book came out.
Well, I mean, there you are. Fascinating story about how this book. I must say, you're the first author I've actually talked to who said he actually died and then came back to tell me about the book. It may sound strange, but that's kind of interesting indeed. I know, we're laughing. It wasn't funny when it happened.
Not at the time, but I will tell you, I have a quote: don't wait for a life-changing event to change your life. And unfortunately, I had to go through a life-changing event to change my life, but everybody doesn't have to do that. You don't have to wait for a life-changing event to change your life.
Well, in effect, you fell on all these answers accidentally almost by getting into a business you didn't know that much about, and because of you were being kind and nice is really what it is.
That's right.
You threw a housewarming party for a client that you sold a house to, and look what happened as a result. Now you have this major company, ReferCo, and you're starting something really, really new and unbelievably fascinating called Refer COM. What is that?
CRM. Refer CRM is our flagship offering. We do things in 3 ways. We help the do-it-yourselfer. We have the books, we have the action guides, we have access for them to get the information so they can do it themselves. Also, we have the done with you type of answer and solution. We have coaching and we have training. But what has truly set the business world on fire is Refer CRM, which is our done for you model. It's done for you. And instead of me teaching you how to call your database, call your clientele, or write the handwritten notes, or coordinate your events, or post on social media, instead of me telling you how to do that, we're just going to do it for you. We write the notes, we call for you, we text for you, we help you coordinate your events, and we post on social media for you. We do it all for you.
Isn't that kind of hard to do when you're not the person who actually had the meeting or the sales experience with a customer or a client?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I hadn't had the experience, I think it would have been nearly impossible.
Right.
But I have been through the experience, and every single post, every single call is research for me. My background's in mathematics. I'm a research scientist at heart. So we've analyzed every single word, and what we have is we combine what's called residual influence. We take the influence of the company or of the CEO of the company, whoever has hired us, and we put that into our calls and into our notes. So we're actually taking that residual influence and then becoming the representative for that company. We have our professionals who are the representative.
And how effective is that?
It's extremely effective because it's actually more effective than if you did it yourself. And I'll tell you an example is if that you schedule a meeting with someone and they're the one that returns your call, and then they're the one that confirms the meeting with you, and then you have the meeting with them, you have a thought in mind. But when you talk to someone and schedule a meeting, and then an assistant or a professional calls you and confirms that meeting, and then a professional calls and confirms afterwards, and a professional asks you how it went afterwards, it actually gives you a sense of, it gives a buoyancy to the relationship. You think they're more important simply because they do have an assistant or a professional that's on their team. That's what we do.
So what kind of industries or businesses are really best suited for this kind of service?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great question. It's one of those where we started in real estate. Right. Because that's where my background is.
Right.
I have a real estate company in Kansas City. We've done very, very well, and that's where my platform started. But now, mortgage professionals, mortgage companies, financial services, financial planning, insurance agents, it's blossomed from those alliance services to real estate. But honestly, in every conversation I have, people believe it should be in retail, believe it at large corporations, and so on and so forth. So it's any company that honestly wants to build loyalty and attract referrals. And as we were talking in pre-production, it's one of those where what company doesn't want to do that? Well, there are some, I'm sure, but it's not in my realm. So we have expanded very rapidly from real estate, and now we're getting calls from retail shops.
So you're based in Atlanta, but you'll do this for companies wherever they are, anywhere in the country.
That's right. And our CRMs, the CRMs, Community Referral Managers, that's what CRM stands for. We believe that the best CRM in the world is not a software or technology. We believe the best CRM in the world is a person.
It's person to person.
That's right.
You know, something else, you speak around the country on this whole subject of essentially what you put in the book. You talk to groups. What kind of reaction do you get when you talk to them?
I'll tell you, I love that question. It's one of those where, listen, what if we could have a business that was based on generosity and appreciation, and it would lead to prosperity? That's what I teach about. I teach the generosity generation. We have a success formula. Generosity plus appreciation equals prosperity. And we have 3 principles. One is give first. I mean, give first. Be the first one to give. Give massive value first. The second one is give thanks. Be an appreciative receiver. When somebody wants to give you something, give it. When someone says, can I help you? Say yes, which is such a contrary thought to what they've been taught for years.
Right.
And then the last principle is give back, of course, right? And please notice how give first aligns with generosity, give thanks aligns with appreciation, and give back aligns with prosperity. And we have strategies based around generosity and appreciation that builds loyalty and attracts referrals. When they see, they feel in their heart of hearts that this is how they can really have their business plan, what's written in their business plan, align with what they want written on their epitaph. Nobody wants on their tombstone 2012 #1 real estate agent or 2012 top company. What they want is loving husband, loving father, loving, known to be. So we put the love back into business.
I think that's great. He's known as the father of the generosity generation, and you just explained why. I think that's just terrific. I got to tell you, it's a great story you have to tell. Thank you so much for being here to tell us about it.
Absolutely.
That's good. It's very interesting.
Thank you very much. It's been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now it's my honor to present this prestigious award to Michael Maher, the CEO of Referco of Atlanta, Georgia, for the outstanding work his firm is doing to help keep moving America forward. Michael, it's a pleasure to give that to you. Congratulations.
Thank you. This is a great honor, and it's been a privilege being associated with you, Mr. Shatner, and the entire Moving America Forward crew. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
That's it for another edition of Moving America Forward. I'm Bert Tenzer. Join us again as we continue to bring you the entrepreneurs who move America forward.
I'm William Shatner, and for all of us at Moving America Forward, thanks for watching.